Today we have an interesting challenge. We have a person that will act as an attacker, trying to infiltrate our network. This is a real challenge using real tools and real data. And we are in the position of a defender, trying to prevent this person from accessing our data. My name is Roman, and I'm the IT security manager for Alpha Inc. My responsibility is to keep our business operations running with minimal downtime and a good level of protection.
My name is Tuomo, and I do attacks against corporate environments and networks for a living. Point of this challenge is to show how advanced attackers or targeted attackers can gain access to protected environments and find confidential data in those environments and take it out of the environment without being detected. And everything in this challenge is real. The people are real, the tools are real, and the environment is real.
I hope that today we can identify when the attack is happening and to be able to stop the attacker from coming in and looking at our data. We have experienced some ransomware attacks and some malware, but no breaches to date. In the challenge with me today is also Chrissy, our human resource specialist.
My name is Chrissy, and I work as a human resources specialist. Well, my main concern is job recruitment, so mostly my job entails posting job postings and reviewing applications and CVs. I don't concern myself much with cyber attacks. We have an IT team for that, and we have antivirus software on our computers, so I'd say we're probably pretty safe.
My feelings about the challenge are very confident that we will be able to stop him.
I'm confident that this is going to work brilliantly without any kind of interruptions. I have two objectives in this challenge, one of them being stealing one particular file from the file server in the environment. And the second goal is to somehow show the target that I was able to penetrate them, and this will be done by changing the background image of the target HR lady to be something that I controlled.
In this challenge, I'll be using the tools that I use on a day-to-day basis to basically monitor the network, making sure all our endpoints are connected to the protection systems, that they are protecting against malware and other threats, looking at the logs for any unusual activity, and paying special attention to our servers for any unauthorized access.
Basically, I'm just going to be doing the same things that I do on a normal basis.
So in this scenario, we have a typical enterprise environment where there are user endpoints like laptops, and then we have authentication servers like Active Directory and file servers and all kinds of typical infrastructure services that are existing in corporate networks. The tools I'm using today they are typical hacking tools that are, or security testing tools or penetration testing tools that are available free of charge on different places in the internet. I'm not using any kind of exploits. The methodology will be standard, and I'm expecting it to work brilliantly.
I'm ready for the challenge to start.
I'm ready for the challenge.
So right now I'm on the company website, and this is the job postings board. But also right now I'm going to be looking at the postings from before and seeing what kind of applications have been sent in and downloading the CVs that go with those.
In this case, I sent this Word document which has this macro functionality that when opened will generate a backdoor on the endpoint and connect back to our attacking infrastructure in the internet.
So here we have the Word document, and it shows that I need to enable content, and that seems pretty standard, so I'm going to click here.
And this connect back will enable me to gain access to the environment and run my commands there. So now I have access to her laptop using her credentials and her level of access in the environment.
Once the attack is going on, I'm looking now at monitoring tools, checking if there's any alerts, any indication that something is happening on the endpoints. I'm also now going through logs in the servers to check for any unusual access patterns, looking at monitoring tools in our CM for any events that are out of place or not ordinary.
The next thing to do is to elevate privileges in the HR lady's laptop, which means that she is a regular user, but we need to gain full administrative access on the endpoint because we need to get our hands on certain data that is not accessible by her level of access. We run a tool that allows us to gain administrator level access on the computer. We can now run tools on the computer that give us information about different users in the environment. And in this case, we run this password dumping tool on her endpoint, and then I get several credentials, valid credentials in the domain. And when I look through them, it seems that one of them is domain administrative level credentials. So this means that I already have complete control over the whole environment.
I'm concerned that the attacker has been quite active for some time, and I'm not seeing any unusual activity so far.
I now have administrative access to the environment, and I want to find out where this file server is, because I know that the critical data that I want to access is residing in the file server. So I can run a specific command on the HR lady's computer to find out the IP address of the target server. And I can add it to my tool so that it's visible in my tool. Then I can just use the credentials that I grabbed a moment ago and log into this file server. And after I have logged into the file server, I can just browse the files on the file server, and remember that I'm a domain administrator at the moment, so I can access every user's home folder and all the directories and all the files that are stored on the file server. So now it's just a matter of clicking through the files on the file server and finding out where the target data is in the file system. After I have gained access to the data, I can just download it, and then I have my own copy of it in my command and control infrastructure. But I also want to leave something behind in the environment, so I will be setting this game over image as the background image of her workstation.
As far as I can see, there is no trace of the attacker in our network, so I'm hopeful that we are able to stop him.
Oh dear, it looks like they got me. My background image has changed, and I'm going to have to tell IT about this right away.
So now the file has been stolen and the background picture has been changed, so challenge is completed.
I was surprised he was able to get into this system so quickly, especially that our tools didn't detect any unusual activity.
As expected, this attack was easy and maybe even easier than expected, so I was able to gain access to domain administrator level credentials right away, and when I got these credentials, I could basically do whatever I wanted in the environment.
This is just really surprising. This is the same things that I do every day, and I don't know why this would suddenly result in something. This was pretty standard stuff.
I was quite confident that we haven't had these kind of breaches before, but now I'm not so sure. This example shows that if the attacker was able to get this far, he could have done a lot more damage.
And of course, when I was in this position, I would have been able to do whatever is possible to do in this environment. For example, send and receive emails of all of the users in the environment. Maybe open some doors if there's some kind of access control system attached to the network, or even operate machinery if there's some kind of interface to some real-world physical process in the network.
Since we don't have any visibility to his actions, I'm not sure how long he would have been in our network without us noticing. I think we need to take a look at our tools that we're using and really clearly reevaluate what we should be using to make sure that we're able to detect these kind of attacks in the future. So in this challenge, I'll be using the same tools as before, except in addition to those, the team from the Rapid Detection and Response Center will be using their monitoring tools to detect unusual activity, and if the attacker has bypassed our systems, they will reach out and call me. I'm definitely more confident that they will be able to catch the attacker, since they have better tools and skill set for detecting this kind of activity.
I'm confident that I will get through, even in stage 2.
So now when the attack is going on, I'm again looking at our logs, just to check that there's any unusual activity there, and I'm waiting for a call if he actually bypasses our defenses.
In the second phase of the challenge, I will be running exactly the same steps that I ran in this first phase, because I'm confident that it will work, and I'm pretty sure that I will not be triggering any kind of alerts.
So currently, the Rapid Detection and Response Center is looking at our network, looking at the events that are going through, trying to detect which ones are unusual and alert us if there's any indication of an attack. I just got a call from the RDC, and their indication was that there is an attack ongoing and I should disable the network completely from this endpoint. The indication I received from RDCs was the attack didn't go further after we closed off the avenue from that machine.
This time when it happened, Roman came over to my desk and he disconnected me from the network.
The difference now versus the first challenge was that there was now visibility into the attacker's actions from the Rapid Detection Center, and they were able to inform us right away when the attacker was able to get a foothold to our organization.
I was surprised that I was detected so quickly and the response activities started so quickly, because usually even though I'm detected, it might take from hours to days for the response activities to start affecting my work.
It seems that the F-Secure's team had better visibility into what's actually going on in the network when an attack is happening.
I cannot tell you what caused me to be detected, so I'm not sure what I could do differently in order to succeed in the next round.
The difference was tremendous. Otherwise, I'm sure we would not have been able to detect this kind of attack.
Well, I feel more comfortable knowing that it was taken care of.